My beloved child, this is not merely a message to be read and set aside, it is a divine summons from the very heart of heaven. Every word in this revelation reverberates through the sacred realm, pulsing in rhythm with your own heart, God says. The moment you open this message, an unseen door in the realm of light is being opened. It is not by chance but the perfect intersection of time and my intent. You may think today is just another ordinary day, but heaven does not call it so. This is the hour of turning the meeting point between what has been promised and what is about to manifest. Even during the quiet days that seemed uneventful, countless movements have been unfolding in the deepest layers of the spiritual realm. Angels have been dispatched carrying fragments of instruction, piecing together your story upon the sacred map written before the foundations of the world. Ancient inscriptions, decrees signed in light, are now being unfolded. With each page turned, your destiny draws nearer to its appointed fulfillment. Archangel Michael declares, not one of your prayers has fallen to the ground. They have been kept like jewels in the treasury of heaven, and now the time has come for them to illuminate your path. You have walked through dark days, times when everything seemed to pause, and faith was but a fragile thread keeping you tied to the light, yet know this: in every silent tear a movement began. When you thought yourself alone, heaven was already in council. When you were silent, angels were discussing the next course of your journey, and now those divine decisions are being carried out. What seemed delayed was never forgotten, it was being aligned to appear in the exact moment destined for its unveiling. A hinge is turning, my child. It makes no loud sound, yet its echo shakes the spiritual heavens. A new chapter is being opened, and the old, whether beautiful or painful, is closing. Receive this not with fear but with deep trust that the Lord has gone before you to prepare the way. Micah 7:8 says, though I have fallen I will rise. Though I sit in darkness the Lord will be my light. That word is not only a reflection of the past, it is a confirmation for you today, the one stepping out of shadow into the radiant light of destiny. The Lord declares, I have watched every step you have taken, even the moments you thought you were forgotten. No, my child, I have never been far. Every silence was meant to synchronize your heart with the pulse of divine timing. For, if I were to bless you, before you were ready, that very blessing would become a burden. Therefore, delay is not denial. It is the sacred space where your soul expands to hold the glory that is coming. Know this, beloved, the movements of heaven always mirror the movements on earth. When you shift your perception, the door shifts its place. When you step out of fear, the key appears. It is not the world that opens the path, but heaven carving a passage through the world. Do not rush in your own strength. Allow me to guide your pace, for the wisdom of heaven surpasses human understanding. Archangel Michael says the vibration of your soul has now reached the frequency of promise. That is why this message is sent to you. Move forward with courage, for every door has been oiled, every lock decoded. What was once closed will open, not because you knocked, but because heaven has decreed the hour. This is the moment when obedience becomes the key and faith is the hand that holds it firm. My beloved, do not doubt what you feel. Your intuition, when bathed in God's light, is the language of the spiritual realm. Pay attention to the smallest signs, for in every breath, every glance, every encounter lies divine orchestration. What appears as coincidence is but the disguise of perfect precision, When you pause and look with spiritual eyes, you will see a luminous network woven around your life, each thread connected to the center of heaven's intent. And now, my child, do not merely listen, respond. Open your heart, for this is the time to move from waiting to walking in fulfillment. Believe even when you do not yet see. Give thanks even before you hold it in your hands. For it is in believing through the unseen that your faith becomes the trumpet calling heaven's armies to action. You stand now at the threshold between an old season and a new one, where light begins to pour like rain upon the parched land of your soul. My beloved child, there are things drawing nearer than you imagine. Do not let worry blind you to the quiet yet precise movements of heaven. Archangel Michael declares, "What is coming is not meant to frighten you, but to make your soul stand firmer amid the changes about to unfold." Angels do not appear to announce disaster, but to prepare your heart to remain steadfast before the new wind begins to blow. They have leaned close, whispering into the depths of your spirit, "Keep your heart at peace, for what is coming is not against you, it comes to lift you higher." There have been long nights when you lay still in the darkness, your eyes open toward the ceiling as if searching for a sign from above. In the silence you asked, "Lord, do you still remember me? Do my prayers still reach your ears?" But my child, every sigh of yours has been heard. Every question you whispered through tears has been carried by angels before the throne. God says not a single word of yours has fallen to the ground, not a single tear has been wasted. They are becoming the underground river that nourishes the seed of the miracle I am causing to grow. You do not realize that while you pray in silence, heaven is at work. When it seems that nothing is changing, the wheels of destiny are turning behind the veil. People you have never met are being positioned to enter your life at the exact moment needed. Conversations yet to come will open doors you once thought sealed forever. Opportunities you no longer dared to hope for are being returned, wrapped in new light to match the frequency of your present faith. My child, do not doubt when strange things begin to happen, when you meet someone you thought was long gone, when an invitation arrives from a place you never expected, or when a door opens that you never knocked on. These are not coincidences, they are divine arrangements. Every detail is being tuned by heaven with meticulous care, down to the rhythm of your very breath, so that everything aligns like a symphony composed before your life even began. Just as a conductor leads an orchestra, God is orchestrating every sound in the music of your destiny, and now the symphony approaches its crescendo. Archangel Michael says, "You have endured long enough in silence." That silence was not emptiness, it was preparation. Heaven has spoken, and the answer is already on its way to you, swifter than your own doubts. Believe that even as you read these words, a shift is occurring in the spiritual realm. Certain things are leaving your life not as losses but as space being cleared for the new. Some doors are closing not as punishment but as protection. Some people are stepping away not because they were wrong, but because your path must now be refined from what no longer aligns with the mission God is entrusting to you. My child, your waiting has not been in vain. The timeline of heaven is not the same as yours. God is not slow as you think. He is aligning everything so that the promise will be fulfilled in perfection. Isaiah 60:22 says, "I, the Lord, will make it happen swiftly in its time." This verse is not merely comfort, it is confirmation. Everything is unfolding precisely on heaven's schedule. You are not forgotten, you are being formed. God said, I am rewriting your story with delicate strokes. Everything you once thought was an ending is merely a comma I place to open the next chapter. Therefore, do not fear the changes ahead. Sometimes, new arrangements arrive disguised as disorder. But look deeper. Behind the swirling winds is a hand restructuring everything to bring you back into alignment. You are not lost, you are simply being turned toward the right direction. And when you grow weary because you see no result, remember that a seed never sprouts in the light, it needs the darkness to break open. Likewise, in the darkness of waiting, your faith is growing stronger and taking root more deeply. One morning you will open your eyes and realize that the miracle did not appear suddenly. It was being prepared day by day, minute by minute, through every breath you once thought was meaningless. My child, heaven is not delaying, heaven is preparing. The answer you are waiting for is already on its way, not in the form you imagined, but in the essence of what you truly need. When it arrives, you will understand that every confusion, every season of waiting, every tear shed, was an essential part of the perfect picture God has been completing for you today. Beloved one, there are things approaching not to take anything away but to open before you a new reality, broader, deeper, and closer to the heart of heaven. Your angels are leaning near, listening to every beat of your soul, and they whisper, do not fear, for what is coming is meant to open your eyes, not blind you. It comes not to strip away but to place in your hands what your faith has never dared to touch. Archangel Michael declares, prepare yourself, for a season of miracles is approaching, and it will require from you not only belief but readiness to receive. You once prayed for something to happen, not realizing that your prayer was summoning a movement far greater than you could imagine. God says, I am not merely answering your prayer, I am expanding its horizon. When He responds, He gives not only what you asked for but also what you never knew you needed, and that is why the coming days will astonish you. For what is on its way will cause you to lift your eyes and proclaim, Lord, this is beyond my understanding. You will meet people you never thought you would meet, those divinely arranged to hold the keys that unlock the next stage of your journey. A brief conversation, a seemingly casual handshake, or a kind glance, all of it belongs to the sacred map drawn by God. Every encounter has meaning. No one enters your life without purpose. Stay awake to recognize it, for among what appears to be coincidence lies the gentle hand of heaven orchestrating every step. My child, what is coming will stretch the limits of your faith. It may cause you to ask, how can this be? Am I worthy to receive something so great? Yet in that very questioning, your faith will be expanded to a new dimension. Just as the seed must break to sprout, your soul must be stretched by surprise to grow. You will come to see that miracles are not born in places of comfort but in the very spaces where you feel most fragile, for that is where God's power is made perfect. When storms rise, do not be afraid. When all that is familiar begins to shift, do not panic. What you call chaos, heaven calls reordering. God is moving the old out of place to make room for the new. Believe that every change, great or small, rests perfectly within His divine design. As Scripture says in Ephesians 3:20, He is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. This is not a distant promise, it is a reality now unfolding in your life. My child, when heaven begins to move, you will notice the subtle signs. Doors that once seemed sealed suddenly open again. People who had walked away return with renewed hearts, and dreams that once lay lifeless begin to breathe again. You will no longer need to control everything as before, for He now holds the reins. Your part is to keep peace within, for peace is the evidence that you are walking in the right direction. Archangel Michael declares, "Stand firm in the wind. For this wind does not come to break you but to propel you toward the promise." Do not be afraid when you find yourself being lifted out of the familiar, for that is where miracles are born. Every step you take, no matter how small, is being inscribed upon the map of light that heaven is unfolding. You are not walking alone on this journey. An entire host is lifting you up, and light is shining to guide your way through every turning path. God says, "I am renewing your vision. You have looked at life through an old lens for too long. Now I will let you see through my eyes." And when you see through His eyes, you will realize that loss was never the end but preparation for something more complete. What you thought were shattered dreams are in fact the foundations of something greater being built. My beloved, do not measure what is happening by the feelings you hold today. Feelings are fleeting, but heaven's intent is eternal. Stand still, keep faith, and receive what is coming with the heart of one who has been chosen. For truly you are not merely entering a new season, you are becoming a living testimony of God's power. Beloved child, the doors that once remained closed before you are now preparing to open. You will be invited into spaces that you once only dared to glimpse from afar, places where dreams that seemed out of reach begin to draw near. God says, "I am making a way for you to walk in places you once thought did not belong to you, so that you may know it is I who lift and position you." When that moment comes, you will look back and understand that today is not just another day, it is the day heaven has marked, the day your angel stands to ensure you do not miss the moment destined for you. Heaven is actively moving around you. The angels are not merely watching, they are preparing every detail so that you may be ready to step into fulfillment. They are not anxious because something is wrong, but because everything is beginning to align perfectly. There is a sacred movement taking place, gentle, deep, yet more powerful than anything you have ever known. Archangel Michael says, "We are not fixing you, we are aligning you with the orbit of light." They want to make sure you are awake enough to recognize the wonders approaching, so that you do not pass them by, unaware of the divine hand now touching your life. My beloved child, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and feel the gentle movement within your chest. It is more than breath, it is the sign of divine life being awakened within you. When you sense that rhythm, you are touching the presence of angels. They are wrapping you in garments of soft light as a mother tucks a blanket over her child dreaming in the cold night. Every fear, every doubt is dissolved by that light. For at this very moment you are no longer standing in the place of waiting. You are standing at the intersection of promise and fulfillment. God says, "My child, I have placed you in a position where only light can find you. This is not the place you chose, but the place I prepared." Your new season is beginning, a season where the impossible will bow before your feet. Doors that were once closed will open on their own, not by your knocking but because heaven has commanded it. Dreams once buried under fear and weariness will rise again, stronger, brighter, more alive than before. Like sprouts pushing through the soil after a long rain, what you thought was lost was only waiting for the appointed time to bloom. My child, do not judge the present by its quiet appearance. There are great works being built in silence, angelic hands arranging every piece behind the scenes of your life. When the time comes, every fragment will align so perfectly that you will weep in awe. Heaven never works in chaos, it moves in order and in love. And that love is now weaving around you, moving you from the place of waiting to the place of becoming. Archangel Michael declares, chosen soul, do not fear. When the light feels too strong, it only means the night has ended. Everything old is passing away, not to be lost, but to make room for new blessings. You are being lifted gently yet surely to see the world from heaven's perspective. The limitations that once bound you are dissolving like morning mist beneath the rising Sunday. Believe that this is your appointed moment, neither early nor late. Heaven never arrives behind schedule. Just as water finds its way back to the sea, the promises of God always return to the one He has chosen. As Psalm 3:7-4 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. This is not an empty promise, but a living reality slowly unfolding within your very life. My beloved, heaven is moving all around you quietly yet powerfully, gently yet with great authority. The angels have seen a great shift approaching, not to end what you know, but to open a deeper understanding of who you are and the path God has written for you since the beginning. Archangel Michael says, chosen soul, do not fear when the ground beneath you trembles. It is not the sign of collapse, but the confirmation that the old foundations are being cleared away to build something stronger. You are approaching the moment when old boundaries can no longer contain you, when what once seemed unclear will suddenly become radiant. This is not the end, but the beginning of a completely new chapter, a chapter your soul has longed for in silence without even realizing it. Through all the years of solitude, when no one fully understood your weariness, when your eyes carried a smile, but your heart felt heavy as stone, your angel was there, never leaving your side. They stood beside you in the still rooms where you cried without a sound, where only a dim light shone through the window as heaven's quiet reminder that you were never forgotten. They walked with you through the long dark nights when you prayed in desperation yet still believed. And now they want you to know every tear you shed was never wasted. They have become seeds planted in holy ground, preparing for the radiant season now drawing near. God says, I have seen you when no one was watching, and I have heard you when no one was listening. Do not think that I am silent, for it is within that silence that I have been shaping a new path for you. My child, what you are about to experience is not chaos but redirection. You may think your life is being overturned, yet it is actually being realigned to match the orbit of divine will. Like a compass once misaligned, now finding its true magnetic north, your soul will soon sense the clarity it has long been seeking. The fragments that once seemed scattered, people, memories, opportunities, promises, are all beginning to find their rightful places. They never disappeared, they were merely waiting for the appointed moment set by God to come together. And now that moment unfolds before your eyes. The door that once seemed sealed is gently opening, not by your effort but by the hand of the one who holds the key. Your angels are whispering, prepare yourself. What you thought was over is returning, not in its old form but in a sanctified one. My child, this is not a time for doubt but a time for remembrance. God is never late. Though He may arrive in ways you do not expect, He is always on time. When you look around and see nothing left, it is precisely then that the unseen is taking form. When you feel weak, it is the moment heaven's strength flows through you. Paul once wrote in 2 Corinthians 1:2-9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." My child, your weakness is the very soil where miracles are born. Let your heart expand, for you are closer than you think. Do not measure distance with human eyes, for in heaven's view distance is an illusion. Things that once seemed far away now stand at your very threshold, waiting for you to open your heart and receive them. God says, "You have walked long enough through the mist. Now, I will let you see the light." You do not need to run, just walk steadily in faith, for you are moving in the right direction. Archangel Michael declares transformation does not come to break you but to restore you. Be ready, for what is coming will change not only your circumstances but also the way you see yourself. They are surrounding you not to prevent every stumble but to uphold you when the winds shift. They are whispering through your breath in the morning light, in your nightly dreams, reminding you that the divine is drawing nearer than ever before. Beloved child, do not let the past bind your steps. What you perceive as loss, heaven calls rebirth. What you thought was an ending is in truth a gateway to a beginning. Every disappointment, every season of waiting, every silent ache has been part of a perfect design. When you look back, you will see that every step, crooked or tear-stained, has led you to this moment. The moment when darkness retreats and the light from on high begins to pour over your life. My child, you are closer than you realize. Every sign is declaring the time is now. Receive heaven's redirection not with fear but with gratitude. For what is coming is not the end of your story but the birth of a new chapter, one that you will write with the light of faith, the breath of hope, and the unwavering love of the one who chose you from the beginning. Beloved, a new era is unfolding, gentle yet powerful. You will walk differently now, not burdened by doubt and fear, but carrying the serenity of a soul that has been healed. God says, "I am not only delivering you from your burdens, but teaching you how to walk within grace. Every step you take now is no longer alone, for I walk with you in every breath." You will find your heart purer, your mind brighter, and your love deeper than ever before. For this love is no longer sustained by emotion but nourished by the truth that you were loved long before you ever learned how to love. The things that once made you doubt yourself will lose their power over you. The old voices in your mind, the ones that made you shrink back, that whispered you were not enough, will now fall silent under the radiance of truth. Archangel Michael declares light does not argue with darkness, it simply shines and the darkness disappears. In the same way, when you allow hope to be reborn, the shadows within you will melt away like morning mist beneath the sunrise. You do not need to fight fear, you only need to let a greater light take its place. And that light, my child, is rising from the renewed core of your being, where faith and love intertwine. You will begin to trust not only in the path ahead but also in every step that has brought you here. Every scar along the journey is evidence that you have lived, learned, and overcome. Look back with gratitude, not regret. For everything that once made you fall has now become the stepping stone that helps you stand taller. You have been brave, you have endured, and now you are being prepared to enter the most radiant season of your life. My child, your angels speak not merely for you to know but for you to prepare. For grace is never an accident, it requires a heart ready to receive. Ready to believe that you are worthy. Ready to accept without hesitation. Ready to open your hands and embrace what heaven is sending your way. God says, when you stop questioning your worth, I can pour out blessings greater than anything you've ever dared to imagine. Do not look at yourself as lacking, for, in His eyes, you are already full. You do not need to prove yourself, you only need to be present. Now your prayers, your patience, and your perseverance are converging like three rivers, joining into one. And at that point of convergence, a new season will begin, a season where everything you have long awaited will start to bloom. No longer distant promises, but realities taking shape before your eyes. Open your heart, for what you once asked for through tears is about to appear in the light. My beloved child, this is not a time to shrink back. This is the moment to stand fully in who you are becoming. Like a tree stretching toward the sun after winter, your soul is reaching beyond its old shell. The parts you once saw as weak are now being sanctified. The limits you once accepted are being shattered. And you are being called to rise into a new dimension of life where fear has no dwelling place, only the peace of one who understands heaven's design. Archangel Michael says, once you step into this transformation, you will no longer be who you were. Do not return to old paths, for they have fulfilled their purpose. Move forward, for the light awaits you ahead. My child, this transformation cannot be reversed. Once the wheel of destiny begins to turn, nothing can halt it. The only thing you must do is surrender to its flow with faith, with humility, and with love. Remember, no journey of faith comes without testing. Yet now trials no longer arrive to frighten you, but to prove the strength God has planted within you. When you walk in light, every shadow must bow. When you believe, miracles unfold. When you love, you bring healing not only to yourself but also to the souls who are watching your journey. My beloved, this is the season to advance, not retreat. Do not fear the vastness of what is opening before you. It was created for you. Breathe in the air of dawn and step forward, for you are entering the life you were always meant to live, a life in light, in freedom, and in the everlasting joy of God. My beloved child, your angels have been watching every step you take, both the strong strides and the trembling ones taken in silence. They have seen you walk down lonely roads where only the whisper of the wind kept company with the solitude in your mind. They have seen you stand in crowded rooms smiling outwardly while your heart longed for silence within. Archangel Michael declares, not one of your steps goes unnoticed, not a single sigh falls into nothingness. We have heard, and heaven is moving. You have tried to keep your world from collapsing, forcing a smile amid the ruins, hiding tears behind gentle eyes, carrying the burdens of others upon your shoulders. Your angels know this. They are so near that they can feel your breath before it escapes your lips, and they catch your tears before they ever touch the ground. God says, I have seen you when no one else did. I have heard your voice when all others were silent. Not a single tear of yours is meaningless, for I have kept every drop in the palm of my hand. My child, there are nights when your mind swirls like an unending storm. Thoughts crash like waves, and you wonder if God hears you, if heaven truly cares about the quiet exhaustion of a small soul like yours. But hear this, they have spoken to him, not once, not twice, but continually. On those nights when you could not pray, your angel prayed for you. When your words were trapped in your throat, they carried your sighs before the throne of God like a song without lyrics yet filled with the fullness of your heart. Each time you feel forgotten, your name echoes through the halls of heaven. They have spoken of you, defended you, and interceded for you. They said, "This one still stands though storms have swept many away." And in that very moment a new decree was released, a stream of light sent forth, a blessing prepared for you long before you realized it. God says, "No one can steal what I have appointed for you. No power can delay the blessing that bears my signature." You think you have been forgotten, but in truth you are remembered more deeply than ever before. Even when you are silent, heaven is speaking about you. There are conversations taking place in the higher realms where your name is spoken with tenderness and mercy. No one can erase that name from my list. Archangel Michael says you do not know this, but every time you struggle to rise after a fall, all of heaven rejoices. Every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, your light pierces through a shadowed land. And every time you believe without seeing, that faith paves the way for wonders unseen by human eyes. Therefore, do not think that your quiet days are meaningless. In those very days your soul is being refined to carry the glory that is coming. Remember, child, you are not fighting alone. A host of angels stands beside you, surrounding and protecting you. They know your battles well, the ones no one else sees, the battle against despair, against the feeling of inadequacy, against the fear that you are unloved. But you are loved beyond all comprehension. As Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." And because He is near, you have never been alone, not even in the darkest night. Beloved one, pause for a moment and feel this truth. You may be weary, but it is not because God has forgotten you. It is because He is leading you through the hallway of transformation. The tears you shed today are evidence that you are still alive, still loving, still hoping, still being shaped into the person He intended you to become. Every pain has purpose, every wound is counted, and every beat of your heart resounds through heaven as a reminder that you are still moving toward the light. Thank you for listening to this message. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss any divine message that heaven sends your way. Amen.